See, this banga stew is a banger. You see this pot of Ofe Akwu, this deliciousness in a bowl. I'm telling you, you want to try it out, okay? So please keep watching.
Ryan Little.
Alright guys, for this recipe, the first thing you want to do, and guys, this is really important, you want to dissolve your banga extract, okay? For this recipe, I'm using 1 derica worth of banga extract. Banga is the same thing as palm fruit, okay? If you're here in Nigeria, of course you're familiar with this 1 derica tin, but if you're not, this is also the 800 grams worth of banga extract, okay? Now I'm just trying to get all my banga extracts from the tin, so all I'm doing is pour in some warm water, rinse that, and then pour into the bowl till I'm sure that all my extracts are out of the tin, because I mean it's not that cheap, okay? Like I mentioned earlier, you want to dissolve this with some warm water, not particularly hot, but just warm enough to dissolve the cream. All right, you want it creamy and thick. You do not want it so runny, so please be careful with the amount of water. As you guys can see, I'm pouring my water in bits and just making sure to melt the extracts properly, okay? So what you want to do is pour in some water, stir it, just make sure to check the consistency until you're satisfied. All right, now once that is done, you set this aside. Time to cook, guys. Now you want to place a clean pot on fire and then pour in your banga cream or your palm fruit cream into your pot, guys. Look, this is why I asked you to dissolve your banga with some water first, okay? You guys, take a look at the dirt that has settled beneath the bowl. Guys, this is not healthy for you. You want to throw that out. Make sure not to cook with that, because guys, you would not like the taste of your food. So now that we have this in our pot, all we want to do is to cover and let this boil for about 15 minutes until oil begins to float on top. Even when it begins to foam up and cause a mess in the kitchen, please do not add anything into it. You want to make sure to see the oil float at the top before adding anything. This is very important, guys. Please just trust me on this, okay? Trust me. And this is exactly what we've been looking for, guys. The oil has finally begun to settle on top. Now it's time to cook proper. Alright guys, the first thing that would go in would be my deboned dried fish. I use the dried catfish for this particular recipe, so you want to pour that in, after which you pour in your diced onions. Guys, I love me a lot of onions. You guys, if you've been following me, you know this already, okay? Now the next thing you want to pour into this is some tomato and pepper mix. Of course, this is optional. I know some people do not like to put tomatoes in their Ofe Akwu, but Betha loves to put it, and I feel like it adds the vavavoom that I'm looking for, okay? Now once you have that in there, you want to pour in your already cooked meat alongside the stock, okay? So I'm not frying my meat. That's actually why I'm pouring everything into the pot alongside the stock at this point. Now you want to stir that together, cover, and let this cook. Let it marry, okay? Let them just conglomerate together for about 7 to 10 minutes, okay? Now that this is boiling really nicely, the next thing I want to add into the pot is my Okpei. This is also known as locust bean, okay? So of course you want to go ahead and just pieces that into the pot. It will definitely dissolve. Another way of doing this is to pound this alongside your pepper and crayfish. Next up is my roughly blended crayfish, after which I went ahead to add my seasoning cubes, okay? At this point, you want to taste for salt before adding any more salt, because remember, your stock from the meat already had seasoning and salt. So please be careful. I felt like mine needed a little bit more salt, which is exactly what I'm adding now. And then at this point, I'm just going to cover the pot and let this cook for another 3 to 5 minutes, all right? See, let me just put this out there. You see this stew here? This is the type of stew you should cook when your mother-in-law to be, brothers-in-law to be, all of them, when they come your house. This is the stew you want to cook, because oh my god, they will just say yes before they know it, okay? At this point, I'm just going ahead to add my scent leaves. If you do not have scent leaves, you can also use basil leaves, but this step, you see this step, not miss am. not miss am at all, because this one na im go bring that putu putu scent wey you dey find, whether your mother-in-law go take say yes. Okay, now once you've done that, yeah, just stir everything together. Allow the scent leaves or the basil leaves to just release that their heavenly flavor. Yes, it's heavenly, because right now, guys, my kitchen smells like heaven. Now you need to give this another 2 to 3 minutes for this to happen. Okay, one last step and we are done cooking. All right, guys, at this point you just want to add your ugu leaves. See, follow this method. Add the ugu leaves, just give it a try, don't be a doubting Thomas. Betha is telling you. Now as soon as you add your ugu leaves, stir together and turn off the heat. The steam from the stew will help us cook the ugu properly. Okay, and my loves, we have ourselves this beautiful, amazing pot of banga stew. Just take a look now. Who you want give this one now? We go tell you no. They can't tell you no, guys. Like, the oil is perfect, the vegetables are looking green and luscious, the beef is properly cooked. Like, wait till again you dey find. Serve this with your boiled rice and a glass of juice, fresh juice. Chop and sleep. When you wake up, you can't tell me how far. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.